Welcome back to another episode of Spiritually Unfiltered.
We are so excited to have you guys here. And last week, after last week's episode, our God episode, I feel like it was such an activation.
It really was for both of us, and I think we both felt like that episode was an initiation for us. Like we felt called to talk about it, and we did it so intentionally. And after we recorded the episode, I think we've both just felt so different and have just been initiated into this whole new frequency, which is so exciting and so beautiful. And it's one thing that we spoke about that it's like when you have a call to do something, like we had a call to just start this podcast, we didn't know how it would unfold and how the episodes would unfold or what was in store for us. We just knew we had to, we wanted to, and it was such a get to create it. And like when we had that God episode last week, I think both of us are like, oh my God, like this is why we're actually here. Like
Mhm.
expand this truth, but not in a religious way, just in like an energy way, and then to be examples of it and to live by it and to have it like live through us. And I just think it was so beautiful. I don't know, I've just felt different ever since that episode.
Yeah, same for me. And I think as well, it's made me realize when it comes to this podcast, it's not random. Every
Hmm.
episode that we do, it's literally soaked in intention. We put
Yeah.
so much intention into each episode, and what it ends up being, and what I've noticed throughout this is like our fifth episode that we've recorded. It's like a journey. It's
It
like an
is.
evolutionary journey that we're moving through, and that we're bringing people to move through it with us, and I love
Yeah.
it.
It is. It's exciting. It's phenomenal. And I think what's the most exciting for me is that people are going to be able to witness our transformation through all of this, through all of the episodes from where we started, and just to see our growth in every single episode. And we kind of get to just be reflections of everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That embodiment. And this comes to our episode today. So,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of intention, speaking of putting your energy where it goes, listening to your energy, it's something that so many people are disconnected from or don't value as much.
I
And
think they just don't recognize the value of energy.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
and it gets to be something that we all become very intentional about.
mm, And what I always like to say when I'm speaking about energy and our energy fields to my clients or people that I know is, you know, your energy field or your aura, it is not something that is like this woo-woo thing. You feel energy all the time. So someone
Hmm.
can walk into a room and you feel that shift of energy. You feel what they're bringing with them. And you
Hmm.
get that sense of people just from their energy. Like our energy speaks before we do,
Yeah.
And I think that is, if you felt that, which we all have felt that, that
Hmm.
is energy.
Yeah. And I think the importance of why we even wanted to talk about energy today being the episode after our what we call the God episode is because God is energy. And the way we connect with God, it's through an energy. So when we become aware of energy and most importantly then our own energy and what we're investing our energy in is where we can start to feel, okay, this is how God is working in my life. This is how that energy is working in my life. I feel the presence of that in my life. It's also how you strengthen your own intuition and your discernment because it's all energy. And it's one of those big questions everyone always asks, how do I connect to my intuition? And it's like, well, everything is energy and you feel truth through feelings, and feelings are energy. And so that's where energy becomes so important. So
Yeah.
let's talk about it today. Let's talk about like the ABCs of energy. To you, Abby, what would you say energy is? Like in your experience, what is energy to you?
Oh, wow. I feel like that's such a profound question, but I something I really subscribe to when it comes to energy, I treat my energy as if it is currency. I value my energy so much. And so when I start seeing my energy like it is currency, I'm going to make sure that where I spend it feels valuable to me. where I spend it, I want to spend it. We have to adopt the same relationship we have with spending, with currency, with money to energy. Because your energy, literally, where you spend your energy, it makes up your whole life, And so being really intentional about who you're spending it with, what you're spending it on, where you are putting it, that's what you're going to get back. We
Yeah.
always talk about what you focus on expands, and it's the same for your energy. Where you are focusing your energy, where you are putting it, it's going to expand more into your life. You're going to bring more of that into your life. And so it's really important to just be intentional about it. And
Yeah.
I understand as well that it can feel really hard for us to start doing that, to
Mhm.
start, because sometimes it encourages us to have boundaries.
It
It's
will encourage you to have boundaries because
mm,
to me, I feel like energy is the currency God gave us to create.
mm,
So look at it as like your money bank. And energy is what God gave us to then here's your energy, here's your currency, and here's what you could use to create. So what are you going to put your energy on? Are you going to invest it in things that multiplies your investment, or are you going to put it into things that drains your investment?
mm,
And the difference with energy is that actually it's no different than money, because if you lose energy in one place, you could recharge it and bring it up again. And I just think people are not understanding their own energy. Therefore, they're just not understanding energy as a whole. And they
mm,
keep giving their energy to shows, to the news and media, to certain friendships, to beliefs that are always draining and draining and draining and draining their energy. And then
mm,
people get upset, people start getting sick, people get anxious, people get depressed, and they start feeling all these things, and they're disconnected from life and they're not feeling happy. And not recognizing that all along you've had this energy, this frequency that was with you, that was signaling to you all along what's working for you and what's not working for you, and
exactly.
what's in alignment and what's not in alignment. And I think when people start to pay attention to energy, they start to pay attention to what in their life is draining this. It's like if you knew you put money into, let's say, a stock, and this stock consistently plummeted and you consistently lost money, you would not continue to put money in there. Like that's, you would never do that. But people continue to put their energy in things that make them feel really angry and disconnected and hopeless and full of fear. And it's like, well, why do you keep putting your energy there? You could put your energy elsewhere, because like you said, where you put your energy creates. So if you're putting your energy in this thing that's making you feel angry and hopeless and disconnected and fearful, you're actually creating more of that. And then the
Mm,
wild part is, Abby, when you see then a collective of people putting energy towards this, we know when a collective of energy is put towards something, it manifests the thing even faster. And I'm like, if you guys collectively put this energy into a beautiful thought of creation, that's
mm,
what would happen.
mm,
And so I think if people just start understanding their own individual energy, then that will actually support when you're this collective then thinking, let's all collectively put our energy towards these thoughts of beautiful things because they feel better. Therefore, like those are the truth. Like you want to invest your energy in those. Those have a good return of investment.
exactly. And it's so funny because as before you brought up the stock market, I literally had wrote down stock market because I have this thing about, okay, like let's look at the stock market. There are particular stocks that are considered like super valuable, right? Like they're high value stocks. And literally, the more that you value your own energy, the more valuable your life is going to look and become on the outside. The more it's
Mm-hmm.
going to feel on the outside, which is the most important thing. But it's going to manifest that kind of value that you want in your life,
Yeah.
And so it's not about it's not just like, oh, like energy. Like it's something that is important for creating your life.
It's so important, and it's what connects you to, again, whether you want to call it God, spirit, universe, whatever, this energy of creation, this energy of the creator, this energy of source, your own energy is what's connected to it. Your own energy is what creates the relationship to it. And so recognizing it, like one thing for me that I notice when I look back at like my whole journey, my life journey, and this is where like boundaries really came in with like me and my family. It's, you know, when we're raised without boundaries and we don't understand energy, then it's like your mom's problems become your problems, your siblings' problems become your problems,
Mm.
your parents, your dad's problems become your problems. And then if you're like me and my family, who like, then there's uncles and aunts and first cousins and second cousins, and it's like everyone in the family is so intertwined, then
Mm.
all of the energy gets intertwined, and then it becomes like this group thinking. Then everybody must think the same, everybody is this and everybody's that. And then when I started to have my awakening and I was like, wait a second, what am I putting my energy into? Like, I don't believe in these things that you guys believe in, and your problems actually aren't my problems. Like, I love you, you're on your own journey, but
Mhm.
we don't have the same problems. And so that's where I realized energy, because I started to pay attention to how does it make me feel when I interact in these conversations with them? How does it make me feel when I believe what they believe in? And that's simply it. Like when you look at energy, energy then is down to like a thought. What
Hmm.
are these thoughts? What are these beliefs? And how does it feel when you interact with it? And then I realized I love my family so much, but I don't believe in their thoughts. I don't believe in what they believe in. And whenever I sit around it and then I'm like engulfed in it, it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah, and this is like, this is the point of understanding how your energy works and getting
Hmm.
in tune with, as you say, feeling what your energy feels in certain situations and
And
what
then
it.
that's also how you know what is right for me, what is wrong for me. And it's something we were talking about right before this call, like getting our hair done and our hairdressers.
Mm.
You said, I'm so excited about the hairdresser I found here in Sweden because I really like her and I feel so much better being with her. And then the conversation was about like, you see, like even down to something like that of like where we're getting our hair done and who we are getting our hair done by. Because again, everything is energy.
Hmm.
How does the energy feel? Like, how are you spending your energy in those hours that you're in the hair salon? And
Exactly.
pick the energy of the place and the person that actually feels really good to you.
Because I'm gonna share this story because I was going somewhere else, and when I went there the last time, I just had this feeling. It just felt so transactional. It felt like it wasn't, I'm there for a couple of hours, and it was, I sat down. Yeah, she brought me a coffee, but she was, looking at my hair, and she was like, "This is actually going to take me longer." And then it was, throughout it, can I cut your hair? Can I do this? Do you want this on your hair? And these are all things, that actually she's trying to, or I felt the energy that I felt in that situation is I feel like this person is just trying to get more out of me. And that doesn't feel good because I'm not having a good experience here right now. And what happened was I then sort of put off going back there because I was like, oh, like I can't be bothered like going to get my hair done.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone posted, a friend I have here, she posted about this hairdresser. And what's really funny, because we've spoke about this on a previous episode, this hairdresser, the salon is in that area that I'm going to live
Your
one day.
manifestation
Right?
area.
Yeah, it's in that area. And I was like, just because it was in that area, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go to that place. So I booked the appointment with her, and I went there, and I am not kidding. She was all about the experience for me. She wanted me to
Mm-hmm.
have this relaxing experience. Also, talking about energy, I was thinking to myself, this woman, she's very intuitive because she could see that I needed a rest. And she put her hand on my shoulder and she was like, "You can relax your shoulders." And I was so relaxed to the point. I've never done this before. I fell asleep at the sink. Like she was washing, she's obviously like they made it like super comfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
she's taking the color off my hair, and she's leaving me there for a while with like a toner on and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was so relaxed that I fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out of that space feeling $1 million.
Okay, here's what I want to point out about that experience.
Mm,
Because you chose a different salon and a different person that and it feels so much better to you, it's not just about the few hours that you were in the salon, it's the energy that you take with you afterwards because and this is what I think people
yes,
forget about energy. Energy is not just the moment you're in the space. Energy attaches to you and it follows you.
exactly.
So, like, once you left the salon feeling upgraded, elevated. Whereas in your last salon, I'm sure once you left like, okay, my hair is like cute, but then you left feeling like icky or like a lower vibration that doesn't feel good. And I want everyone to like pay attention. Like, when you're on social media and you're scrolling and you're watching things, once you close the social media, do you see how those things that you were watching continue with you? And this is why it's so important to pay attention to where you're even putting your energy because once that thing is shut, it's not gone. It's gone into your subconscious. It's navigating in there and you're going to continue to think about it and then because you're thinking about it, you're going to crave that frequency again and then you're going to go back to it.
Mm,
And so it's so important to be intentional with our energy because you see, you went to the salon, you had this experience, it feels really good. You walk out feeling like $1 million. Well, you're not recognizing, or you're probably recognizing this, but now you're going to go attract other experiences to you that make you feel as high vibrational and they make you feel like $1 million. And you're going to reject and not subscribe to thoughts, people,
mm,
or places that make you feel less than this because you're like, no, if I had this experience, I want more of this experience. I don't want the other one because you're intentional with your energy. And so you
exactly.
keep yourself away from people, places, and things that are going to be lower than that. And therefore, you're going to continue to call in experiences like that. And you're going to keep your energy very high and it feels fabulous. And that's how energy, that's literally how it works. I think some people think that like you can't escape the low energy and it's like, yeah, you can by not feeding into it. And I'm not saying don't see it or don't feel it. Don't feed into it. What you feed grows. Simply don't feed into it. And if you
Yeah.
understand
And
energy creates,
consistently.
yeah, put your energy into something else. Like, I'm going to go into the topic that people don't like to talk about, and it's like the current things happening in this world. And I like, let me talk about Israel and Palestine for a second, because I feel like it's such a touchy and sensitive topic, and people like don't want to touch the topic. But I look at everyone and I look at everyone who is chanting Free Palestine. And I look at the protests and I look at the things that they're saying. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, if these people, and look, this is such large groups of people are doing this. I'm like, this is a big collective energy that can create something so beautiful. I'm like, if these people could just recognize what their energy is, because if you really wanted to free a country or free a group of people, which like, yes, by all means, everybody gets to live in sovereignty and liberty, the collective energy, I'm like, maybe if you guys look at the collective energy, you will see something's not working because the collective energy isn't about the freedom of these people. That's not what the collective energy is about. The collective energy is about fighting
Mm,
another group of people.
yeah.
That's what the collective energy is
Yeah.
about.
Mhm.
And so then when you see the reflection, why has this war gone on for almost 2 years? Because the collective energy is actually
Mm,
creating war. If
exactly.
that same group of
Something.
people understood energy, do you understand that a war would have never started? Because our energies are what create, and this constant war that they are in is what's creating the war. It's
Mm,
that simple. And this is why it's so important for people to understand individual energy in their lives, because then they would never partake in situations like this because they would know this isn't creating freedom for anyone. This is continuing to feed the darkness.
exactly. And you know something I think about a lot. So obviously in the work that I do with human design, a lot of the talk and a lot of the work that I do with my clients is talking about energy and how to
Mm-hmm.
lean in, understand, become aware of how your own works, the signals that you get and how to follow them, right? And something I say all the time is, could you imagine if everybody was living in that harmony with their energy. And this is how we can see this. You've been in a room before and someone has walked in and they're putting their energy into something they love. They're so excited, they're passionate, they've just got this like bubbly electricity about them. They've walked
Mm-hmm.
into the room and the whole room is lit up. Like
Yeah.
you've become excited. And again, like what you were saying is energy lingers, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
we take that energy with us, that energy exchange that we've had with that person, we take that with us from our day. And we could be
Mm-hmm.
walking around like, oh my God, that was like, we can consciously see it and say, this person brought me this energy. But my point is, that is a small example of what it's like on the grander scale of things.
Exactly. Yes,
So
exactly.
if everybody understood and listened to and was intentional about their energy, the world would be so different.
It
It would be
literally comes
so
down to
high
energy.
vibrational. Mm.
Yeah, we talk about creating a better world, and and people are like, how do we do it? And then we hear people saying, you have to do the inner work, you have to end the separation within yourself and all those things, which is all true. But I feel like as we peel back layer by layer by layer to like simplify it, it really does come down to simply energy. What are you giving your energy to? What are you feeding? What are you supporting growth in? And then like that's what you end up creating. And I think one of the things that's happened in our world is people don't think they have power. Oh, well, what am I, one person, going to do? And it's like your energy is
Mm.
frequency from God that creates. That's powerful. This is not some weak shit. This is powerful. It was a currency given to you by the creator.
Mm. Mm.
And it's given to you, and then it says you have free will here. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And so it's like that's how powerful your energy, your frequency is. Who was it? I forget who it was, and I might sound like an idiot on this because it's probably some not it is some famous person, but it's a story from a long time ago, and they asked her to like it was something about women's rights or freedom or something like that, and they asked her, will you like protest against this? And she goes, I'm not going to protest against anything, but I will march for freedom.
Okay.
And it was such a thing because one is like fighting against the oppressor, and the other one is marching for and standing for freedom. Both things want the same outcome, but one
Hmm.
is doing it with fighting the oppressor, or quote unquote who they think the oppressor is. And it's like, you see, if you put your energy in that one, all you're actually doing is creating more of a fight. And when you put your energy in this one, what you're creating is a peaceful outcome. You're creating the outcome that
Exactly.
you want. And you
Yeah.
know what I understand this because I understand energy, but like when I look at people protesting things they don't like, and then they're burning buildings, they're chanting hateful speech, and they're so angry, enraged, and in fear. And it's okay to feel any of those things. I'm not saying don't feel these things. It's a part
Mhm.
of the human experience. But then they sit in it, and they sit in
Mhm.
it, and they sit in it day after day, week after week, month after month, and it changes their being. You know how we like you'll see people sometimes and they're like, well, that experience changed me and that's why I am the way I am. It's because in that experience you forgot to pay attention to your energy. You forgot to pay
Mhm.
attention that your energy is going to a negative space
Yeah.
instead of getting yourself out of that. And it's like, I just want people to recognize when any situation happens in this world, if you see yourself, it's okay if you experience this, but if you see yourself living in anger, hate, that's not the proper frequency. That's not the only answer. Feel it and then ask yourself, how can I transmute this? What is the truth? And I think people forget that by simply asking for the truth, you'll receive the truth in thought.
Yeah.
And
And
that is how you connect to the literally to the energy of the creator, and you start learning how to work with it.
yeah, and something I love to say is,
Mm.
I mean, we have in human design, there are, we have specific names and feelings for those
Mm-hmm.
frequencies. So for those sort of low vibrational frequencies that show up and the high vibrational frequencies, how they show up. But I always say, so we can just look at it, from an overall perspective here, when we are feeling those things like anger, frustration, bitterness, those sort of low vibrational feelings, and you will just feel it in your body. You know what it feels like for you. When we are feeling those things, I see it as it's actually a direct line of communication from your future self or from your future timelines, letting you know where you are applying your energy right now is actually not where it wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a form of intelligence. And when we're feeling, the high vibrational energies, because actually we don't sit in that long enough. When we're feeling those high vibrational energies, that's also your future self trying to communicate with you and saying, you need to spend more time here. So
Mm-hmm.
again, like for us, what we're sharing here
Wait,
is
I love that.
yeah,
They're both from your future self.
they're
It's
both
just
from your future self.
they're just showing you which one you're creating, which one you want more of. Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? I've never looked at it that way. I actually love
No,
that.
it's like I literally run my whole life
You
using
do.
that. And
You
it's
do.
like, if there are things that are frustrating me, I even look, even inside my business, I will do like audits on where I'm putting my energy. And I
Yeah.
look at it and I'm like, okay, I'm putting my energy here and I'm feeling frustrated. It's not giving me that high vibrational energy. And so what I do with that is, okay, like, do I have to do it? If I don't have to do it, maybe I let it go. If it's something
Mm-hmm.
I need to do, like, okay, like when I first started my business, I didn't like doing the accounts. So as soon as I could, I delegated that out. That's not a job
Mm-hmm.
for me because it just frustrates and brings my energy down.
Yeah.
And the other side of things, so those things where I feel like I am in that flow with my energy, that's
Yeah.
where my future self wants me to put it because I'm
Yeah.
creating more abundance in that
You
space.
know, one thing that like stands out as you're saying this is that you and again, everything is about what beliefs we subscribe to. And that's a very big thing. We subscribe to
Yep.
this and I don't subscribe to this. And it's funny because in real life, you'd be like, I don't like this. I unsubscribe. And it's that easy.
Uh,
What you're pointing out here is that you have subscribed to this belief that I will not invest my energy in things that make me feel drained, low, less than, stressed out. And like, I'm not going to subscribe to it. I'll experience it, but I'm not going to stay in it. Whereas I think so many people, when they experience those things or have those types of interactions, whether it's with their work or friendships, family, or even relationship with themselves, whatever it may be, they just go, well, that's just life.
yeah.
And so what they're doing in that moment is they're subscribing to the belief of, what do you mean? It's just life. You're gonna live in shitty things. And it's like you could experience those things, but it's a choice to live in it. And
Mm,
so then when you pay attention to energy and say, wait a second, I want to invest it only in the best thoughts so I can create the best outcomes. When you choose to invest your energy in the good things, you'll actually begin to unsubscribe from the belief, well, this is just life. And I
mm,
had this experience when I was shifting careers from being a dental hygienist to wanting to do this spiritual work. I would tell like my family and my friends at the time of like, I don't, when I wake up every morning and I want to go to the office and I think about cleaning people's teeth for 8 hours a day, and I did it for 5 years, but after 5 years, I was like, I cannot do it anymore. Like, I
mm,
cannot put, and it's not even 8 hours of your day because you're in the office 8 hours a day, but there's an hour break. And so that's 9 hours. There's the 30 minutes getting there, the 30 minutes coming back. And so that's actually 10 hours contributed to that. But then there's the when you wake up and you're getting ready to go there. So it's like really your day is revolving around this thing that you're doing for
right.
work.
Mm,
And so I'm putting like 13 hours a day of energy to a work that I don't actually fully enjoy doing or being there. And
mm,
so when I was finally like, no, I'm not doing it, I'm not even going back one day a week. Like, I will not do it because it feels so bad. And then the common response I would get from everyone, and it blew my mind, Sima, it's just a job. Nobody likes their job.
wow. Yeah. This is so
And you
common.
see, it's these belief things. It's kind of like the belief of, oh, that's too good to be true, so people won't actually believe the good thoughts or the good things because, oh, it's too good to be true. These are beliefs that, like, if we call it like the matrix or whatever we want to call it, these are beliefs that were infiltrated in there to keep people stuck in this loophole of
Mhm.
literally like suppressing your own energy and then using this energy of the creator into negativity that continues to suppress you. Why would you believe, well, nobody likes their job? That's simply not true. We
Mm.
weren't brought here for work. Work was meant for us. And I had subscribed to a belief at that time that humans are not meant for work. Work is meant for us. Work is meant for us to do something that expands and expresses our soul.
Yeah.
That is what work actually is. So I am going to pick something and I'm going to do something that expands and expresses my soul. And by doing that, I am being of service to humanity. And because I am choosing service to humanity over just making money, God will provide for me in abundance, which is exactly what happened. And it's all because I decided to subscribe to a belief that felt better. And I was no longer going to give my energy, my frequency to that belief because you feel exhausted. And I'm sure there's so many people listening to this where they feel like their lives are like in a loop and can wake up, go to work, do this
Mhm.
thing. And it becomes robotic and they don't realize that it's like the thing that's keeping you stuck there is the belief. And a belief is just energy that you have subscribed to. And
Mm.
if you have subscribed to something that makes you feel low, that's not the truth. The truth,
Exactly.
the truth makes you feel grand and amazing. So
Mm.
don't subscribe to these things.
And subscribe to the idea that actually life is supposed to be good. Life
It
is supposed to
is.
be enjoyable. Like, because, when you were speaking, I was feeling this energy of when we are putting our energy, especially into work that just doesn't fill us up. I know for me, in experiences where I've had that, I literally feel like I'm selling my soul. It's like my soul feels like a slave to that
Yeah.
space, and that makes me feel so trapped and so stuck. And
Yeah.
this is not to say that those low vibrational feelings don't come my way, but actually learning and understanding energy as a whole, but my own personal energy, it's helped
Yeah.
me really break those cycles and break those loops that I could get stuck in, because
Yeah.
that's the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I
And I
think as well, when it comes to our energy, it's important to understand that your energy makes up your time. Your time is your
Mhm.
life. And we hear it all the time, right? That your time is everything. Your time is the most valuable asset and commodity that we have, because we cannot buy it back, And so, really being intentional and thoughtful about where you are spending your energy is being thoughtful about where you're spending your time.
yeah. And we get to remember that when we are brought into this world, we're brought into this world with physically nothing. We just have our little bodies. And when we leave this world, we leave also with nothing. We can't take anything with us. But when you think of it, what we are brought into this world with is our energy and our frequency. And the whole purpose of the human experience is to expand this energy and frequency because what you're leaving with is that energy.
Ah,
That's
that's
it. You
so
come in with the
beautiful.
energy, you leave with
Yeah.
the energy. And the whole point of this human experience is to expand the energy based on the experiences that it has. And one thing I'll tell you from my experience in those years that I worked with loved ones that have passed on, once you pass on, like you get a flashback of like your whole life and you're like, oh my God, I see where I was disconnected. I see where I was in alignment. They see everything, which is why oftentimes loved ones will come through and apologize for something and people are in disbelief and they're like, no, 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 my loved one would never apologize. And I'm like, yeah, in their human form, they wouldn't.
Mm.
But when they pass on, they see and then they go through like a energetic soul correction.
Wow.
Like them coming through and apologizing is actually correcting their energy because like, wow, that was what I did was not in alignment with like the creator and with that energy. And so that's what I noticed. I'm like, we're here to expand our frequency let's just call it, in a way of God, in a way of goodness, and expand and have more of that. And the way we can expand here is we have more resistance here on earth.
Hmm.
There's so much resistance because it's so dense here, but resistance is the weight. It's what builds us. It's what we choose to do with that resistance. And when we choose to focus our energy on good, even though there is so much weight of negative, and it wants to put you down and it wants you to believe those things, when you don't believe that and you choose to really work with this energy of the creator and you choose to grow, that is the whole point of this spiritual experience here. Your
Hmm.
soul wants to grow. Our physical bodies are not eternal, our souls are eternal.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's like that's the frequency we want to take with us. So it's like, stop disrespecting your soul, stop disrespecting your divinity by paying attention to these things that you know are making you feel like crap. Like, that's not what you came here for. You came here to experience that. Like, again, that's the resistance. You have to experience it. And it's kind of like what you said. It's not like those low vibrational thoughts don't come to me. It's not like
Mm.
I don't have them. We all have them. We all experience them. We have just learned to discern and then to choose not to live in them. And when we choose not to live in them, I've seen in my own experience, when I choose, I'm not going to subscribe to this, I'm not going to live in this energy, even if I don't know the right thought or the right feeling yet that actually makes me feel
Mm.
good, it finds me through one way or another. The answer finds me and it comes to me, and then I live in another way simply because I'm not subscribed to this. And I think sometimes people get very uncomfortable in that time frame of the unknown. So they want to latch onto
Mm.
something. So they may be like, okay, well, I don't believe in this anymore, but I don't believe in this new thing just yet either. And
Mhm.
because there's that empty space in the middle, they keep going back to the old belief. It's almost like, the best way I can like describe this is like, we've all seen those people that relationship hop. They get out of one relationship and then they get like immediately they're in another one, and then they're in another one, and it's like they don't like being alone because they're so uncomfortable. So then they keep attracting the same partner in different people,
Mm.
because that period of being alone is actually where the most transformation happens. And they feel so uncomfortable in that, so they keep repeating their same pattern. It's the same thing with these thoughts. When people are like, fine, I won't believe in that, they don't have that new belief yet. It's not integrated into their vessel. It's this uncomfortable unknown that they want to get out of. So they just jump back to believing that thing again. And then they get sucked back into subscribing to that again. And it's like,
Exactly.
be uncomfortable. Like,
Mm.
it's in the discomfort that God finds you, and it supports you in like navigating your life. But be in the discomfort. Like, that's the money spot. The discomfort.
Yeah.
Don't run out of it. Lean
It's
into it.
very, I mean, the void is very fertile. There's
Yes.
space for so much magic to come into
Yes.
the world in the void. And it's kind of like when we create space, because that's what the void is, when we say no to something, we create space. It's almost like we're giving this direct invitation, this command to the universe, to God, to say, okay, I have space for this now. Bless me. And it's only when we have that space that those things that we actually want can come in.
Yeah.
And that's also like, related to our standards. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, a lot of us, we can sort of settle and say, oh, well, I'll do this instead. We try to fill
Mm-hmm.
that void as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah.
But if you were saying, you know what, this is my standard, I want it to be like this or whatever, and you create the space and that trust, you're going to receive it.
There's a word you just said that I think I want to point out the word because it's so powerful, and we forget the power of command.
Yes.
Command is actually a very, very powerful word, and I think that many of us forget that we get to in our, like, even when you say the word command and you sit with the frequency of it, you're like, I feel very powerful in that word.
Mm.
And we forget that we get to command what we are calling in. We get to command what we're going to say no to and the only things we get to say yes to. And it's being in that power. And you're absolutely right. Like the void is very fertile. Like that, I love that sentence because it's so true. And then when you're in that discomfort, instead of going to, I feel weak, I feel scared, that's where, like, that's where I met God, in that void. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I recognized I get to command what I want in my life. And sometimes when you command something, the opposite's going to show up. And you say no, you don't fall back into the trap, and you command, like literally, you command, that is what I'm calling in, and that's it. And it brings in discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And discipline is a big part of having like control over our energy, is just discipline of what we're going to feed into and what we're not going to feed into. That's all that it is. It's discipline. And so that word command, and I think as we talk more about like God and the energy of God within us, it's not that God commands us, God teaches us how to command energy. And when you're commanding energy, you're directing energy. And when you direct energy, you're creating. Like
Exactly.
that's it.
Exactly. You know what's really funny? What just came to my mind just now? So we both did this thing on New Year's Eve. We got we ate 12 grapes under the table or whatever you're supposed to do. I think
Yeah.
it's 12 grapes, right?
It's, I think 12 grapes in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, something like this. And what that is supposed to do, it's to call in your partner in that year
Uh-huh.
following. And I was having a conversation with my friends here in Sweden. It was like, just after New Year's, and I said, "Oh, I was eating grapes under the table," and I was like joking about it. And they asked me like, "Oh, why is it 12?" Or what did you, they asked me some sort of question. And I said, I think as I was eating each one, I was thinking of a quality that the partner I'm calling in, that it's really important to me. And
Mm-hmm.
my friends turned around to me and they said, "Well, maybe that's a little bit much." And I
Mm.
thought to myself, I kind of had a thought where I was like, is it? And then I had to check myself and remind myself that actually, I mean, we have hundreds of qualities. You have hundreds of qualities. I
Right.
have hundreds of qualities, and it's also this power of intention and this power of command, right? Like
Yeah.
these qualities are important to me. And, like the partner that I'm calling in, my husband, I'm going to spend my whole life with him. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to get to experience my whole energy. So I'm very intentional about that. I'm very intentional about how I date and how I show up in that part of my life. And I think that is kind of something good for people who are dating. Be intentional. You can be intentional with your energy. You should be intentional.
We get to be intentional with our energy because, again, a partner that we choose, especially one that we choose to marry, but even one that you choose to just date, again, that's an investment of your energy into a thing. So, is that partner expanding your investment or is it draining your investment? Because
Mm,
we've all had those relationships where it's like, oh my God, I feel so drained in this relationship. But then you have those relationships where you're like, it makes me feel so good and I feel so happy and I feel
mhm.
more inspired in life, even in friendships. Like I feel like our
Yeah,
friendship is very expansive. I
we have
feel like
always
I
said
grow.
that.
Yeah, like I grow and I evolve, and it feels like such a good place to put my energy in because it feels expansive in more ways than one. And that's why I think for both of us, we both feel that way. And it's like we both choose to subscribe to this friendship. But it's like, why do we fall out of other friendships? Like, if you really pay attention, like it's not supporting your energy, it's not feeling
Mm,
expansive. Like people who
mhm.
have fake, one thing I always saw growing up is all of these fake friendships, and I could never wrap my mind around why these girls chose to be friends with each other. I'm like, all you're doing is draining your energy in this place. Like,
Mhm.
why? Friendships, and I think friendships are such an easy thing to talk about because we all, I think everybody's experienced friendships. Good friendships are the most nourishing thing
Mhm.
to your soul, and it expands your life and it makes life so fun and beautiful. Why would you invest in a fake or bad friendship?
I know.
you know, and
This comes down to energy exchange as
it
well.
is, yeah.
Because we're exchanging energy with others all the time. And this is something when we first met. So when we met in Palm Springs and then we were in LA, we were instant best friends. And we said, oh my God, it's the way we exchange energy that feels so
Mhm.
pure. It feels so in sync. It's like this energy of you water me and I water you, but it's just
Yeah.
so effortless. And I think when it comes to being in friendship, in connection, relationship, however that shows up with someone else, there has to be that harmony.
This flow, yes. You know what
Yeah.
I think actually magnified that experience for us it really reflected to us how much we are in flow. It was the other energy that was in the space with us. And with that energy, it felt very resistant. It felt very draining. It didn't flow with that energy. And I think it reflected to both of us how much in alignment we are, how our energies flow with each other. And
Mm,
that feels good.
yeah.
And I learn and I grow from you, and you learn and you grow from me, and we just pour into each other. It's like a flow of energy. And that's where, like, I think by that time when you and I met each other, we were also so well aware of energy and our own energy and what we like to put our energy into. So it was an easy thing, like, yeah, I'm putting my energy into this person. This feels right.
Yeah.
Because we were just aware of our energy. But for other people that are not aware of their energy or don't also have the discipline to set boundaries with their energy, because we also saw people like this, then they continue to let the same very energies they don't like back into their life. We've all seen, and I'm sure guys do this too, but I'll speak on girls. We've all seen girls that talk shit about other girlfriends. Ugh, she's so annoying and she's this and she's that. And I'm like, so why are you friends with this girl? But then they will go and then they will continue to be in relationship where that person, with that person, quote unquote friend, where there really isn't an equal exchange of energy, and they feel frustrated and pissed off and annoyed by that person, and yet they're still friends. I'm like, this is not a friendship. I don't know what this is, but you see, pay attention to energy. And once we start paying attention to energy, we see it's actually everywhere.
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 Mm.
What, and I think we've spoken about these things before, but it's like, what grocery store are you shopping from?
Hmm.
Because I'll tell you this, there's a brand here in LA, and I actually think I've seen it everywhere. It's like a brand that sells berries. You can find this brand at Ralph's. These are just different markets here. You could find it at Vaughn's. You can find it at Ralph's. You could find it at those like knockoff markets and stuff. You can also find the exact same brand at
Hmm.
Whole Foods, at Trader Joe's, and at Air One. Whole Foods and Air One are like the like nicer, fancier ones. Trader Joe's is like it's a nice market too. But then you have like the ones that aren't as nice, and like they don't feel as good. And then sometimes they're like Walmart and places like that that also sell it. They all sell the same brand, okay? It's the exact same berry. They come in organic and they come in non-organic, same farm. When I go to a market or I walk by a market and they have that, I won't buy it from that market. I'll buy the same brand from Whole Foods or Air One simply because where I am buying it from holds a frequency that I like. And again, frequency follows you.
Yeah, and
So
you're
when I bring those
digesting that energy as well.
Exactly. So when I bring those berries home with me, I'm also bringing the bouginess of
Mm.
Air One or Whole Foods home with me as well. And I think that's the most important thing. When people really start to be intentional and they just start to pay attention to energy, they see it is everywhere. Where I go to get my nails done now, I
Mm.
like the salon because the energy in the salon is really good. And I found someone in the salon where he does a really nice job and I really like his energy. And I'm like, this is it. Because I've been to other salons where we know when you go to nail salons, a lot of times like you have no idea what they're saying about you and you just feel off in there. Like they're talking about you as they're doing your nails. And it doesn't feel good. Like this is like a common thing from nail salons. Every girl knows this. And so those nail salons, I'm like, I don't care how nice you do my nails. I don't like how I feel in that energy.
Mm.
Therefore, I'm not going back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when people start to pay attention to energy, pay attention. What are you investing your energy in? Like like down to every little stinking detail, pay attention. And then you will see, once you start paying attention, there's things that you could immediately start changing. And when you immediately start changing those little things, it changes the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because it goes like it's a train of energy. And
Exactly.
so it's down to the smallest things. Just pay attention to how everything makes you feel. It's really just that.
It
Pay
is.
attention to how
It's just
everything
like,
feels.
yeah.
You don't have to stop accepting the shitty feeling. Like it's just
It's
stop
like,
accepting
you
it.
know, like I feel like called to tell a story of, you remember like a few months ago, that guy that I was dating? I went on a few
Yes.
dates with him.
Yes.
He was coming over to my place for lunch, and I just felt like this person had no effort and was kind of lazy in connection, and that's not what I'm about. And I spotted it really quickly, but he was coming for lunch, and I was like, I gotta go to the supermarket and get some lunch for this guy. I'm walking to the supermarket and I am so annoyed. Like my energy, I was feeling so resentful that I was
Hmm.
going to the supermarket and I was getting lunch for this person.
Hmm.
And I was in the supermarket and I knew my energy was like, maybe just cancel it. Like I was having this sort of this internal battle of, he's going to be here soon and I want to cancel it. And, I mean, I didn't cancel it, I just went ahead with it. But actually, going ahead with it allowed me to see, actually, this energy, it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was saying, when he was leaving, I said to you, he was like, oh, like, next time I will do this or something. And I was just thinking in my head, there's not going to be a next time. I don't.
Yeah. I remember when you told me about this story, I remember saying to you, I'm like, Abby, I'm so happy that you're paying attention to your energy and how the energy is feeling, because that's giving you the answer of what this dynamic is.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I see it and I'm not with it. And it was that easy and then it was done.
And then it was done. But, this is what I'm saying about intentionality, because so many of us, that's how we get stuck, is we settle. And it's kind of, sometimes it's a worthiness thing as well, of feeling like that is the energy that we should be investing into, or that
Yeah.
is the place we should be. But again, it comes back to what we're saying about your
Yeah.
beliefs about life, your beliefs about yourself, and really letting yourself, yeah,
You know,
be.
if there's one thing I want everyone to take away from this episode, aside from, of course, like just paying attention to energy and starting from there, but it's to remember that you came here to live
Mm.
an abundant life. You
Yes.
came here to live a full life. You came here to be financially comfortable, to be healthy, to be happy. You came here to live a good life. Anything that told you otherwise is a lie. Like, it's
Mm.
not true. Now, because of so many different things that are going on in the world, there's certain things we are meant to experience so that we, as our individual souls, can grow. But experiencing that doesn't mean you're not meant to be healthy. It's just,
Mm.
it's a part of some of the experiences your specific soul is having. But just because you're experiencing it, or you see others around you experiencing it and they're so stuck in their beliefs, doesn't mean that that's life. I want people to recognize that, like, people in this world have been living under this hypnosis, under this spell, and
Mm.
they've had a veil put over them. And because so many people believe in lack and limitation, is why we see so much lack and limitation in this world. But just because you see so much of it doesn't make it real.
Mm.
Like, that's not real.
Mm.
And so I just want everyone to remember that good life, that beautiful life that you see for yourself, when you even see yourself as this different version of you that's confident, that's powerful, that understands how to command her or his energy, like, that is you. You would not be able to see that vision if it were not possible for you. And just understand that your energy is a currency God gave you to create with.
Mm.
And you were meant to have all of that. Do not let your current realities or your current quote unquote limitations dictate your future, because the limitations are not the truth. The abundance is the actual truth.
Hmm. Oh, I love that so much. And I feel like this has been such a powerful episode again.
Mhm.
Even like this episode has made me feel excited as well to apply
I
this
know, I feel like
more.
we coach ourselves in these episodes.
It's like, yeah, I feel like I want to really like go and apply this more in my life and
Yeah.
be extra intentional. And so I hope that everybody gets this message from us. And
Yeah.
just like you said, you are the creator of your life. And if you're wanting to know how you step into that role, you start with your energy.
Start with paying attention to it. Even if you don't know what's next, it's okay. The next will always show up for
Yeah.
you in one shape, way, or form or another. Just start with this baby step of paying attention to where you're putting your energy to, and that's it. And you know which one is right because it'll expand your energy, and which one is a lie because it'll drain your energy. That's
Love it.
simple.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on
Yes.
another episode of Spiritually Unfiltered. We love having you here, and we're going to see you next week with
We'll
another
see you guys next week.
episode.
And I think also, guys, like start messaging us on topics that you want us to talk about
Oh
or
my
cover.
God,
Like,
yeah.
let us know. Yeah, just let us know and we'll start talking about topics you guys want to talk about. I actually think we should start doing like our next episode or such should be just um episodes about us. Like if people have questions for us and questions about like our own experience,
Right.
our own journey and stuff,
Mhm.
like we could do a whole Abby episode and we could do a whole Sima episode.
Oh my God, that's such a cute idea. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think we're gonna do that either next or at some point on our journey. I think we'll do that. Like I will interview you in one episode, and then you could interview me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Love
Love
it.
it.
All
Okay.
right, everyone. Love you all.
Love
Have
you.
a blessed rest of your day.
Bye.